Hi, welcome to Ivy Brain, the talk show for entrepreneurs, where guest experts give us their tips, tricks, and the secret formula for their success. I'm your host, Reena Jadhav, and today we're talking about PR and the brand spanking new rules of this game. Our guest expert today is Kathy Johnson, the co-founder of Consort Partners. Welcome to the show, Kathy.
Thank you.
So, like everything else has changed, PR has changed with this new online media world. Mm-hmm. Tell us the new rules. What are the new rules?
Brand spanking new rules.
Yes.
Well, first of all, whereas in the old days, PR was a very much one-way conversation. You wrote a press release, you put it out on the newspaper, you waited for the phone to ring. It was just one way. Today, it's two-way. You can write a press release, you can blog about it, you can immediately get feedback, you can Twitter about it, you can put a video post out. I can see you, hear you, listen to you, read about you. And the other thing that's interesting is that when we talk about bloggers, bloggers can be old school journalists that have turned to blogging like Om Malik and Matt Marshall, VentureBeat and GigaOM. They can be entrepreneurs that have turned to blogging like Mike Arrington of TechCrunch. Or they can be VCs like Fred Wilson or Guy Kawasaki. Or they can be entrepreneurs. Anybody can be a blogger. So as soon as the information is out, it could be spread out everywhere, which is a fundamental difference from the old school days.
Absolutely. How about the relationship between PR and the media? How has that changed?
That's an interesting one. I think that we're living through those changes as we speak. So in the old days, like I said, it used to be press release, embargoed. You go out to the journalists, you talk to them, and then the story would go out, and then that was basically it. Nowadays, what we'd like to tend to do is we have a trusted group of journalists that we like to pre-brief.
Okay.
And we would like to introduce the entrepreneurs to those journalists and bloggers, get feedback in real time so that it helps the positioning, it helps the messaging. Then we can go back and craft press releases again. So it's all a living sort of process, but it really is drawing in the expertise of the people that are actually going to be able to publicize your company and draw in their opinion before you actually go out and sort of, make it known to the world.
Now, traditionally, PR agencies were always the middleman. They stood in between the executives and the media. Right. You were sharing earlier with me how that's changed. You actually encourage the entrepreneurs, no matter how unpolished they are, to build a rapport with the media. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it actually came from my experience sitting on the hot seat, being interviewed by journalists. So when I was co-founder of Blinks and I was talking to journalists launching the company, I started using some PR people, and it was funny because sometimes I would meet with a journalist and I would want to go back and email them to say thanks for your time, and suddenly people became very precious about these relationships. And I thought, well, wait a second, I'm the one that just talked to this guy, so what's that all about? So my lesson learned in that is that basically my job and the job of PR is to sort of be a matchmaker, bring a journalist and an entrepreneur together, let them foster that relationship. I mean, obviously, I need to prepare the entrepreneur so that he knows what to talk about, he or she knows what to talk about.
Right.
But it's not my job to play interference or be precious about those relationships because journalists, they've got deadlines, they've got stories, they need to know the information now. They don't want to wait for me to pass a message on to my client so that they can call them back. We have to be secure enough to know that these relationships can survive without us.
Okay, so entrepreneurs, build a direct relationship with the media. All right, that's a good one. What's hot? What's hot and what's not when it comes to, again, PR 2.0?
Oh, I think the hottest thing about PR 2.0, Web 2.0 right now is women. Okay,
I agree.
Before you start getting the wrong idea, men are hot too.
I agree with that too.
Exactly, there. But no, being a woman in technology these days is hot. And I mean, first of all, if we look at you and Vader, I mean, look at all of the women that are in the hot seat, that are changing the world. Ning, Vader, Cast TV, Charlene Lee of Forrester, we've got
Heidi Roizen.
Heidi Roizen, Esther Dyson. I mean, there's a whole host of women. And then there's women in the media space as well. And the interesting thing about being a woman in technology these days is I had a friend of mine who was a professor, and he invented the birth control pill of all things.
Wow.
And he said to me, this was when I was single and I couldn't find a date. He said, Kathy, you spend your whole day working with men in technology. Now, do they make you more masculine or do you make them more feminine? And I thought, oh my God, I've turned into a man. I have become so aggressive and so masculine that I've lost my femininity, and therefore I have no dates.
That explains it all, yes.
Exactly. But now I'm happily married. So the good news is that being a woman, you can retain your femininity, you can still be assertive, confident, entrepreneurial, and successful.
I could not agree more, absolutely. It's the perfect time for women entrepreneurs to actually come out and do what they've always wanted to do. What should startups expect from PR, and what should they not expect their PR agency to do?
Well, first of all, every person should expect their PR agency will get them on the front page of the New York Times and on the Oprah show.
And if not, fire them.
If not, fire them immediately.
Immediately, yes.
Realistically speaking, actually, we do have entrepreneurs sometimes that come in and say, it would be great if I could be on TV or, of course, the New York Times. But realistically speaking, from a TV perspective, it's great. But you have to think about the audience you're talking to. It's a mass consumer audience, and it's not very easy to just click a button and go to your website from the TV set. So what we always say is, first of all, think about what your objectives are for PR. So given that my background is in business development, I think PR is purely a form of business development. It can either increase your traffic on your site, it can help increase your profile so that you can get funding from angel investors or VCs, or it can help you get partnerships, business development deals. And so depending on those different objectives, it depends on what kind of angle that you're going to take in writing your press release, and it also depends on who you will be talking to as far as the journalist is concerned, and therefore what kind of expectations you can have. So going out in the very beginning, usually it's an announcement that says what is your product going to do, who is going to care, and who are your investors. The next release probably is going to come, and that will probably stay in this sort of technological echo chamber.
Yes.
The next release will probably come out and talk about you've secured another round of funding, you're showing some momentum, you've got some more users on board. It's going up to the next level of mass media. Eventually you will be on the Rachel Ray show or the, I mean, we haven't gotten anybody on Oprah, but exactly, or the Today show or whatever. You know, that's, I think, the epitome of where everybody wants to go, but from a practical standpoint, it's not such a great place as far as driving your business, because it's wonderful to show your investors. It's not so wonderful as far as converting viewers into traffic.
Right. We're speaking with Kathy Johnson of Consort Partners and talking about PR today.